I am so happy to announce that every single thing in this video is rated 5 stars. I was originally going to do this at the end of the year and kind of do a collective look back at every single thing I rated 5 stars in 2025. But one, I feel like that would just be too many things to cover in a single video, although I've done many, many more than that. But we're halfway through the year and I just felt this urge to really talk about these things, and I thought it was a cool video idea. And I think it's a really good way also for me to talk about non-horror things that I've been loving, because I don't really know when I'd get the chance to like gush about them as much as I'm going to in this video. So I'm very excited to film this because I'm just gonna talk about things that I love and are perfect to me. And this video is dedicated to everyone who claims that I just like to hate things and I don't like anything and I never give a positive review ever, which obviously you're not active viewers of the channel, because that you're obviously wrong. But this is dedicated to you because I love everything in this video. So of course we're gonna have a bunch of movies to talk about that are rated 5 stars. We have a couple shows. I never talk about shows because realistically I don't watch them. I don't watch a lot of shows, I'm not gonna lie, but for some reason I watched shows this year. So we're talking about 2 shows. And then also all of the books that I rated 5 stars as well. Now for the movies and shows, I will make sure to include where they are streaming, if they are streaming, because obviously I recommend them. Now usually they're only streaming on like one streaming service. So if they're not streaming where you live, luckily I'm working with NordVPN on today's video. NordVPN of course protects all of your devices from things like cyber attacks, password attacks, hacking. Also with Threat Protection Pro, it blocks ads so you have a smoother and safer browsing experience, and it scans all of your downloading files to check for things like malware to keep your devices completely virus free. I also love the feature of the tracker blocker, so some sites can't track my data and activity, so I always make sure to have my Threat Protection Pro turned on at all times when I'm online. But the reason why NordVPN will especially help you out in today's video if these things are not streaming where you live, and the reason I think you should definitely take advantage of the deal, NordVPN gives you the ability to block your IP address, so you are able to change your location on your computer or your phone or wherever you're streaming from and refresh your streaming service, and all of a sudden you have access to whatever country you're connected to's streaming service selection. This is going to open the doorway to so many more shows and movies that are just not available on streaming in your country. P.S. if anybody can verify for me, I can do it myself. Like I have NordVPN, so I could do it. But if you can, anyone in Australia can help me out and tell me if Wentworth is streaming anywhere on any of your websites, because they removed it from US Netflix and I have to be able to watch Wentworth at any point in time. So if you could just let me know in the comments, thanks. And on that note, leave a comment down below if any of these things are streaming and where they are streaming in your country, so we can all take advantage and use NordVPN in order to stream these things. So make sure you go to nordvpn.com/PossessedbyHorror to get the special deal plus 4 bonus months for free with a huge discount. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's really no risk to try it out for yourself. Let's start with the movies, because I think that's what you're really here for. Mostly on this channel is movies. A Dark Song is the first one we're going to talk about. Now this is from 2016. This follows Sophia, who rents a house in the middle of nowhere, and she paid extra money so that no questions are asked. Her only companion will be a man named Michael, who is an occultist who has to help her contact her deceased son. I did not expect to like this. This was like the first thing I really sought out while experiencing grief, and I hadn't even fully wrapped my head around it, so I think grief stories now affect me more than they did at the very, very beginning. But this one was such a beautiful movie and like the perfect first movie to really explore more themes of grief immediately after I lost my stepdad. It has really beautiful storytelling. It will probably be a one-time watch for me because it is it's a slow burn, so it's not going to be the most entertaining movie on this list by any means, but also it's heavy. It has heavy themes. I mean, she's obviously lost her son, so that alone is, you know, it hits hard. I could see myself revisiting if I want to, you know, express my grief again, but it is, like I mentioned, a huge slow burn, so not everyone's gonna be super excited about this movie, okay? But I do think it's a beautiful movie and definitely worth watching. I would argue not a lot happens for the first at least half of this movie. It's also single location, so the budget is a little bit lower, but I think the performances really sold this for me. I really enjoyed the performances and they felt very real. Do keep in mind there are some dark moments in this, not just because of the themes of grief explored, but there are some like weird I don't even know what there's a trigger warning, just a trigger warning for this movie, because it does get a little bit weird and very, very uncomfortable for like one scene. And that's like my only criticism, is that one scene felt so out of place. And I really did not like that. And then we just kind of like pick up and move on. So that's my only hang up about it. But something about the setting and everything, it never feels like a slog to get through. And it's just a very captivating movie for some reason. Next up, we have Last Breath. Have I talked about this? I think I mentioned it in a TikTok. I don't remember if I mentioned it on YouTube yet, but this follows the true story of a seasoned deep sea divers who battle the raging elements to rescue a crewmate who's been trapped hundreds of feet below the ocean surface. This was overwhelming in a completely different way, and I definitely cried in the movie theater at this one. That's been a common theme for movies for me lately, if you can tell. But it was just from the sheer tension and like the relief and the experience that we're witnessing, and also knowing that it's a true story. How much is exaggerated, I don't really know, but it seems impossible. And so yeah, the waterworks were on. It was a very emotional movie. Now, it is a pretty straightforward, very simple storytelling kind of movie. I mean, it's a survival drama, so I think if you've seen other survival dramas, or, you know, dramas that are based on true events, it kind of falls into that same category. Definitely horror in its own right, though, I will say. But it's going to focus so much more on the backstory and the characters and the character dynamics and everything like that. So it is a little bit slower at times, maybe, because it has so much more focus on those things and like the story than like it being action packed, but it does have those moments. Man, this was such a tense movie. And I gave it 5 stars because I don't really see a reason to give it anything lower. I enjoyed my experience. It hit me emotionally. It's good storytelling. It was good performances. I love Woody Harrelson in anything. So yeah, 5 stars. Why not? Next up, we have Mickey 17. This is a biased one, maybe. I don't know. Let me know if I'm alone in this. This isn't rated perfectly online, so I think there are people who don't like this movie. A disposable employee is sent on a human expedition to colonize the ice world Niflheim. After one iteration dies, a new body is regenerated with most of his memories intact. I'm just gonna be honest, I am completely biased when it comes to Bong Joon-ho. I will pretty much know I will like it, first of all, because anything he does I have enjoyed, so I can expect anything he continues to do I will probably enjoy, and everything that I see from him I give 5 stars. So that is my bias here. Anything Bong Joon-ho does will get a 5 stars. Usually. I don't know what he's gonna make in the future, but like, usually. Snowpiercer is one of my favorite movies of all time, as you guys know, and he just never misses. His storytelling, his political and social commentary always works. And also, I love when a movie can like lean and do the social and political commentary while also being such an entertaining movie in and of itself. I think Jordan Peele does that really well as well. And Mickey 17 is no different. It is so entertaining. This is just pure entertainment. This was like such a fun theater experience, and if you missed it in theaters, I'm so sorry, but it's still worth it to watch. This movie had like a whimsical feeling to it. Is that weird to say? Bong Joon-ho brings whimsy to the table. All his movies have like whimsy about them. That might be a weird thing. I've never said that before, but that's how it feels when you're watching his movies. They have something different. They're all unique and they're all weird. And I think when you bring beautiful storytelling and commentary mixed with the weird, that's when you get the whimsy, and it's just fun. It's so bizarre in all of the best ways, and dare I say, some of my favorite performances from the main cast, like Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette in this. I loved her. I really identified with her and her sauces because I'm the sauce boss in our house. So I get it with the sauces. Robert Pattinson, of course. I mean, just an iconic role for him, and I thought he was so great in it. I thought everybody was great. Everyone was perfection. And while this is a dark comedy, and that's not typically my favorite genre, as you know, I've said it 100,000 times, I love the humor of Bong Joon-ho and like how he does humor. This definitely isn't a movie for every audience. It really worked for me. It's weird and maybe even a little bit unexpected for even Bong Joon-ho, but I really enjoyed this one, and it's not a serious movie. I can't say at all because of course there are moments, but it's still such a fun movie that I think everyone should experience. Next one we're gonna go through kind of fast because I did a full review on it, and that is Final Destination Bloodlines. Is 5 stars generous for a Final Destination movie? I don't think so. but maybe some of you think that. I don't know. This movie was just perfect. Like, I loved this movie. It's a great installment in the franchise. Like, it's just no criticisms here. Again, I did a whole video on it already. You can go watch that, more in-depth thoughts and everything about Final Destination Bloodlines. But that is probably the most fun I've had at the movie theater this entire year. Like, that movie, I wish I could relive that experience again. I loved the premonition scene. I loved all of the creative deaths in this one. I thought they were all really, really great. No super overwhelming themes of grief, although that is touched on in the movie, of course. But it's not overwhelming and heavy like the whole point of the movie. Like, bring her back, you know, like, I'm not gonna cry at a Final Destination movie. But then again, I didn't think I'd cry at 28 years later, and here we are. Oh, next up, I am so excited to talk about The Assessment. This is probably going to be my favorite non-horror movie of the entire year. Up there with Mickey 17, I think. But I think I like The Assessment possibly even more. I don't know. In a not-so-distant future where parenthood is strictly controlled, a couple's mysterious 7-day assessment for the right to have a child unravels into a nightmare, forcing them to question the very foundations of society. This is a sci-fi thriller dystopian movie. Not horror. It's definitely, there's really no horror elements going on, but sci-fi thriller or dystopian in general is one of my favorite genres in general. So if you have any recommendations within that, I've seen a lot, so you know, I've probably seen most of your recommendations, but if you have any that are a little bit underrated, please leave it in a comment. This movie made me so uncomfortable for so long. I was like, I don't know if I'm into this, if I like this movie. But then something takes a turn, and it just got really good. I don't know how to explain it. I got really into it. I could not look away. It makes you uncomfortable, but in a weird way. It's like you feel weird, but you're having a good time, kind of. You really put yourself in the character's shoes of like, what the heck would you do in this scenario? And I really like the characterization of the assessor in general. Like, I thought she was going to be such a flat character in this and just very stoic and have no personality at all. But then things come out and it just got really weird. And I loved the world building in this. Just the house that they live in is so cool because you see how we would get there, you know, like how it's all believable in where we go with society and technology and food, and it's just really beautiful and creative and not your typical dystopian futuristic world. I think they really brought something to it. I was just looking at their house decor, like just all of it was so interesting and like nothing I've really seen before in a futurism kind of setting. I just got so sucked into this movie. It was such a beautiful story. I loved where the ending went. It was very unexpected for me, and I really thought it was going a different direction. So I was pleasantly surprised by the ending of this movie. And I just genuinely wouldn't change anything. Like, it was, I wish I could rewatch this for the first time again and go through that experience again. As weird as it is, it's a weird movie, okay? So worth a watch. I highly, highly recommend, and it's one of my favorite movies that I've seen in a while. Next up, we have Ghost World. I can't believe it has taken me so long to watch this movie. It's been on my watch list for probably years. I mean, it's my era. It came out in 2001. So of course it would be up my alley. And this kind of teen coming of age, oh, there goes my red light. The teen coming of age storyline in general is one of my favorites. I love it. I love movies like that, like Perks of Being a Wallflower, Before I Fall. There are just so many like teen dramas like that I really like. So this one being a 2001, the fashion, iconic. Okay, all of Enid's outfits were incredible. Two eccentric best friends graduate high school and respond to a man's romance-seeking newspaper ad as a gag, only to find their lives becoming increasingly complicated. I love Thora Birch in this. Scarlett Johansson was really funny in this, like very unexpected role. I've never seen her in a role like that, but I love a complicated, unlikable main character who just makes questionable decisions, and you'll see that in some of the book things that I rated 5 stars later as well. It's a dark comedy, but the tone of this is completely serious, if that makes sense. Like, it's not to be taken seriously, but it is all delivered very monotone. The director told all of the actors to play the material straight, so everything is said with a straight face. There's no joking or laughing or anything of your traditional comedy movie, and I think that works for me. The dry, monotone kind of comedy in a movie like this, which is more drama, I guess. It just brings a weird energy to it that makes it really interesting, and I just was captivated by this. I loved the story. I thought it was so interesting. It also has Steve Buscemi in this as the older man of the ad that they respond to. And he's like a desperate man who just wants to find a girl. And all of the characters were just weird and strange and just really interesting people. Okay, we're gonna talk about shows now. I never talk about shows, so enjoy this moment because there's not gonna be too many videos about shows this year. Although I will be doing a recap at the end of the year of every show that I watched, including reality TV. That's right, I'm gonna do a reality TV section and rank all of the TV shows that I watched in 2025. Okay, so these will be in there at the end of the year, but let's talk about them now. The award goes to Ben Stiller for making 2 of the best shows I have ever seen in my entire life. And of course you're thinking Severance, right? That's number 1. I rated 5 stars. That's right, season 1 only. Season 2 was fine. I would give season 2 like 4 stars. Okay, it was great, it was entertaining, but it definitely went places I wasn't really into as much. I think season 1 was more solid and just perfection. We don't really need to talk about Severance because there's so much out there. It's just good, okay? I'm glad I got on the Severance bandwagon now. But the real star of the show, Escape at Dannemora. I'm hoping if I say, if you like Severance, you'll enjoy Escape at Dannemora, that's valid, but I don't actually know if it is because I like both. But they're very, very different shows. They're both made by Ben Stiller, which is why I'm bringing them up. I guess I just love his shows and how he does shows because both of these shows were perfection. So with Severance being a little bit more sci-fi, a little bit dystopian, I guess. It's in a weird reality that doesn't exist now. Escape at Dannemora is set in a prison and it's like based in reality and it's based on a true story of an escape at this prison. Okay, so very, very different themes of the show. I'm petting my cat down here, so that's why my arm is like sticking out, but he's gonna meow our heads off if I don't pet him. The characters in Escape at Dannemora are some of my favorite characters of any show. They're the most believable, realistic people I have ever seen in a fictional show, especially Patricia Arquette's character, because she is also in this. She's in Severance, of course. She's also in Escape at Dannemora. So that's why I think if you like Severance, you would like it because it's similar storytelling, right? It's by Ben Stiller. But I think we need to talk about the fact that Patricia Arquette is a true chameleon. We have so many actors that are chameleons. She is one of them. It is streaming on Netflix. Please, please go watch it. The last episode or 2 was so tense. I could not look away. I couldn't look away the whole time because these characters are just making the worst decisions ever and they're kind of dumb but in such an entertaining great way, and I just loved these people, these characters. They're all unlikable in their own way but you're kind of rooting for all of them to figure it out. Okay, let's go through the books that I rated 5 stars. Again, I'll go through these a little bit quickly because I do typically save them for my book videos. I do separate videos on books. First up, we have episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. This I did talk about in a reading recap, I believe, earlier this year. I will link it if you want my full thoughts. No, it's over there. My full thoughts on this and more in depth, but this is about a ghost hunting reality TV crew who are filming their final episode, episode 13, in this abandoned building, the Paranormal Research Foundation, which is a derelict mansion, and they obviously get more than they asked for, more than they signed up for in their ghost hunting. Now, this is a found footage novel. Again, I've already mentioned this if you watch all my videos, but just in case, it's found footage in a book. I know what you're thinking. First of all, that's made for Sarah. Yes, it is. Found footage, absolutely. Also, it's a reality TV show. One of my favorite things in this entire world is reality TV. So this has me written all over it. Now, the found footage is done via emails, there's text, there's journal entries, there are, raw camera footage descriptions. That's pretty much most of it. Most of the horror you're gonna get through the raw camera footage. So interesting, jealous, I didn't think of it first. It's one of those, I wish I wrote this. And it kind of inspired me to want to try to write a found footage book myself. Will I ever do that? I don't know. Seems hard, but it seems fitting as well for me to be able to do that. Now, this gets so weird and goes in a direction I bet you do not see coming. And the less you know about this book, the better. It gets very, very bizarre, and I wish I could compare it to different things, but I just feel like you need to know nothing about it. Now, I took forever to finish this. I got about halfway before I really got into it. Okay, so it starts slow like a true found footage movie. I feel like that's an ode to found footage because found footage movies typically do that. And I even put it down for a while and then went back to it. And boy, am I glad I did, because it's horrifying. It's strange. It's just not what you expect, but it does take a little while to get there. Next book I rated 5 stars this year was Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. This follows a woman named June who witnesses her friend Athena's death in a freak accident, and she acts on impulse, stealing Athena's just finished masterpiece, which is an experimental novel. This is my favorite literary fiction that I have read in a really long time. It was so entertaining. I could not put it down, and this really solidified that I love unlikable characters as our main, they're kind of unreliable because it's through their perspective and they're justifying all of these terrible decisions, and like you constantly get secondhand embarrassment for them. Like, what are you doing? Love that kind of storytelling. So keep that coming. Like, please let me know some other ones that are like that. Now, this is a satire novel, and it has commentary on racial diversity in publishing and also the kind of toxicity of social media pages like Twitter. But I really enjoy literary fiction, and this is a great one if you are wanting to get into literary fiction to start with, because it's so entertaining and it's fast paced. Like, I just couldn't put it down. Next up, we have To Be Devoured by Sarah Tantlinger. Now, this is my favorite book by far that I did in my only reading disturbing horror novels for a month video. Again, I will link it up here if you want my in-depth thoughts. I did my first reactions, my genuine raw reactions. It's a reading vlog, so you'll get to see my face while reading it. Among other more disturbing books, I would say this wasn't the most disturbing in that video. Definitely not. That would be the last one that I did in that video, but it was my favorite. Spoiler for that video. This was my favorite book that I read in that video. I'm just obsessed with Sarah Tantlinger's writing. I think it is so beautiful and poetic, and the way she does horror and like the visuals of everything works so well for me. It's so beautiful to read. Again, our main character is spiraling and making strange decisions. Our main character is becoming obsessed with the vultures outside of her house and like wanting to know what they're eating tastes like. And so it's a little bit about cannibalism, and some gross stuff happens. It is a disturbing novel, I would say. It's not like splatterpunk by any means, but it is disturbing, so go in with that knowledge. Lastly, for this video, and it just feels very fitting to end on the best note, nothing this year will top it. Movie, show, book, nothing at all. Sunrise on the Reaping. This is a 6 out of 5. This is like, I know that's a thing on like Book Talk and stuff. This would be a 6 out of 5 for me. This book was perfect. I definitely cried while reading it. This put me in the worst book slump I have probably ever been in my newer reading journey since like 2020 when I first got back into reading. This put me in such a bad slump because nothing was hitting as hard as this. Like, nothing was good enough. Nothing was as good as this, and so I didn't want to read anything. I didn't pick up another book for an entire month, and then I went through a month of trying other things, and I picked up like 3 or 4 different books, and nothing was working. I wasn't into anything. This doesn't need an explanation, obviously. If you're in the fandom, you know already about this. This is obviously Haymitch's backstory in his games, and it's a prequel. It's my favorite prequel of the 2, although I do really love Ballad. Again, that's an unlikable main character when we follow Snow. Love that. Love Ballad. It's definitely up there for me, but this is like, maybe because it's like fresher, but it's like one of my favorite Hunger Games books. It was so good. Suzanne Collins' writing, perfection. She thinks about every single little detail. There's just so much going on, and it's just so heart-wrenching. Like, it's horrible to read. It's not a great time. You know, you're gonna be crying, and it's sad all the way through. You know it's bad. You know the games are bad. People are dying left and right, and yet I love every second of it, and I eat up every single word with joy. And yeah, I will read anything this woman writes. In fact, we watched Little Bear on the regular, and she wrote a lot of the episodes of Little Bear. Anyway, can't wait for the movie. I think the cast, whoever did the cast for the movie of this, perfection. Like, that movie's gonna be 5 out of 5 for sure. Like, I just already know. There's nothing they could do to screw it up with the cast and the story they're working from. I have so much faith. Ballad movie was not that great, I'm not gonna lie. That needed to be 2 movies for sure, because I could not capture all the detail. But I have faith in this one. I think they'll do it. Okay, so that is everything that I rated 5 stars so far this year. Movies, shows, and books. I would love to know your favorite thing that you have watched or read this year. What are you giving 5 stars to this year? And look forward to another part of this at the end of the year when we recap the second half. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.